In the late 1960s, California lay under the dim glow of yellow streetlights. Teenagers gathered in parks, young couples drove out to lonely roads to be alone. But few realized that these quiet places were about to become the stage for one of the most notorious killers in American history. He never revealed his real name. He never showed his true face. Instead, he chose a title: cold, arrogant, unforgettable, Zodiac. Zodiac didn't just kill, he played with his victims and with the entire public. After each attack, newspapers received envelopes containing handwritten letters filled with taunts, chilling threats, and bizarre ciphers that seemed impossible to crack. In those letters, he claimed more victims than the police could ever prove. He described the murders in disturbing detail, alongside cryptic symbols, as if daring the world, "Catch me, if you can." Fear spread across California. The name Zodiac echoed through headlines, turning him into a phantom that haunted the entire nation. Police poured in manpower and thousands of hours, but every lead ended in dead ends. More than half a century has passed, and yet the Zodiac killer remains unsolved, a shadow in the history of crime, leaving behind fear, fascination, all and a question with no answer. Who was Zodiac, and did he ever stop watching? The first murders, December 20th, 1968. A lonely road on the outskirts of Vallejo, California. A cold night, the sky moonless, the wind whispering through the barren trees. Two teenagers, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, parked their car by the roadside, just to have a moment of privacy, like so many young couples before them. But their sweet silence quickly twists into a nightmare. Another car pulls up quietly behind them, its headlights die. A shadowed figure steps out, each footstep heavy on the frozen ground. And then gunfire erupts, tearing through the night. David collapses in the front seat. Betty Lou bolts in terror. Running into the darkness, she makes it only a few yards before bullets tear into her back. She crumples to the earth, motionless. The killer vanishes into the night. He leaves behind a scene of horror. Two young bodies, scattered shell casings, footprints circling the car, and questions that no one can answer. 6 months later, July 4th, 1969, Independence Day, while fireworks explode across America, death comes quietly once again to Vallejo. Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau sit together in a parked car, a familiar lover's spot. The night is still, lit only by the faint glow of distant street lamps. Suddenly, another vehicle pulls up. A man steps out, and without hesitation, he raises a gun and fires again and again. Darlene dies instantly. Michael, bleeding and broken, somehow clings to life. His fragile testimony in the aftermath will become one of the rarest clues, the first sketch of the faceless killer. The Letters and Ciphers, August 1, 1969. Three of California's largest newspapers, the Vallejo Times-Herald, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner, each receive an envelope marked with a strange new name, Zodiac. Inside, the handwriting is erratic, the ink blotched, the tone mocking and threatening. He describes the murders in disturbing detail, facts only the true killer could know. But the most terrifying part is what accompanies them, a massive cipher, hundreds of cryptic characters arranged in rows and columns, symbols of circles and triangles, jumbled letters, unrecognizable signs. In his letter, Zodiac makes a chilling promise. In this cipher, you will find my identity. The newspapers face a grim dilemma: refuse to publish, and Zodiac threatens to kill again. Reluctantly, the ciphers are printed on the front page, and within hours, the name Zodiac spreads like wildfire across California, along with a fear unlike anything before. Thousands try to crack the code: expert cryptographers, detectives, schoolteachers, even curious citizens. Each strange symbol becomes a fragment of a nightmare, pulling the entire community into the killer's twisted game. But Zodiac isn't finished. In later letters, he mocks the police further, describing his crimes with grotesque pride. He even threatens a new atrocity to attack a school bus filled with children unless his words are published in full. Panic spreads like a contagion. Parents tremble. Children go to school under the shadow of dread. These letters and ciphers are more than words. They are invisible blades, cutting deep into the public psyche, spreading fear through every street and classroom. People no longer fear him only for the bodies he leaves behind. They fear him because he seems to be everywhere, watching, manipulating, and pulling the strings of an entire city like a sadistic puppeteer cloaked in the dark. The next crimes, September 27, 1969, a calm afternoon at Lake Berryessa. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard sit together near the water, talking, enjoying a quiet moment away from the world. The lake is still, the sunlight golden, the kind of peace that feels untouchable, until a shadow begins to approach. Slowly, step by step. The man is draped in a long black hooded cloak, his face hidden. Across his chest, a strange emblem, a circle with a cross, the mark of Zodiac. In his hand, a knife glints like cold steel under the sun. He binds the couple tightly with rope, knot by knot, stripping them of hope. Then, without hesitation, without a word, he stabs again and again. Brian screams. Cecilia writhes in agony. Brian survives his wounds by sheer luck, but Cecilia dies hours later, her fight for life slipping away. Before leaving, Zodiac makes sure to leave his mark. Calmly, he takes a black marker and scrawls his symbol, the date, and the details of the attack on the victim's car door, signing his work like a killer artist, painting in blood. 2 weeks later, October 11, 1969, San Francisco. A quiet neighborhood at night. Taxi driver Paul Stein picks up what would be his final passenger. When the cab comes to a stop, a gunshot shatters the silence. Paul is killed instantly, slumped in the driver's seat as blood stains the car. And then, the chilling detail. Zodiac doesn't just flee. He wipes down the blood, then tears a piece of the victim's bloody shirt to send later with a letter as twisted proof that he was the killer. Even more horrifying, police arrive at the scene just minutes after the gunshot. Yet, Zodiac is gone. In the heart of San Francisco, surrounded by homes and witnesses, he kills and vanishes like a phantom, a shadow laughing from the dark. The investigation and suspects after the murder of cab driver Paul Stein, fear in San Francisco reached its peak. Citizens lived in paranoia. The police were under crushing pressure. They had to stop Zodiac before he struck again. Hundreds of detectives, FBI agents, and local officers worked tirelessly. Every letter, every fingerprint, every witness statement was analyzed. Yet Zodiac remained a phantom, always leaving just enough evidence to taunt, but never enough to capture. Among the many suspects, one name stood out: Arthur Lee Allen. Allen was a former schoolteacher with a criminal record for child molestation. He fit the profile disturbingly well. He once bragged about liking the name Zodiac. He owned a Zodiac brand watch, marked with the same cross-circle emblem. He lived near the areas where the murders had taken place. Friends and acquaintances recalled how Allen often talked about killing people, even mentioning a plan to attack schoolchildren, echoing the threats written in Zodiac's letters. But when investigators tested Allen's handwriting and fingerprints against the killer's letters, the results didn't match. Once again, the trail went cold. In 1992, Arthur Lee Allen died of a heart attack, taking with him secrets that may never be known. To this day, debates rage. Was he truly Zodiac, or just another shadow in the killer's twisted game? Zodiac seemed to disappear in the early 1970s. No further murders were ever confirmed. Yet, his letters, his ciphers, and the fear he planted remain, like a wound that never heals in America's memory. Cultural impact and the lingering mystery. Zodiac turned murder into his own twisted game. But the terror didn't die in the 1960s. It spread, seeped into popular culture, and became a shadow haunting the decades that followed. Dozens of films, documentaries, novels, and podcasts have revisited his story. David Fincher's Zodiac, 2007, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Robert Downey Jr., brought the case back into the spotlight, reigniting fascination with the unknown killer. On the internet, forums and amateur codebreakers still obsess over his ciphers. Some believed modern technology, DNA, artificial intelligence, data analysis, would finally reveal his true identity. A few groups even claimed they had solved the mystery, yet to this day, no official confirmation exists. In reality, police officially link Zodiac to 5 murders and 2 attempted murders. But in his taunting letters to the press, Zodiac claimed to have killed 37 people. He even marked his cross circle symbol alongside tally marks of supposed victims, reducing each human life to a mere score in his twisted game. This left a chilling question hanging over California. How many unsolved murders might secretly belong to Zodiac? Or was the number 37 just another cruel trick designed to spread fear and confusion? A question that even now remains unanswered. Half a century has passed, other killers have been caught, other mysteries have been solved, but the Zodiac killer, the murderer who made himself a symbol, remains unsolved. A game with no ending, a mocking laugh echoing forever in the dark. Did he die? Or is he still alive, silently watching from the shadows?